What's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BH Brewing. This is part 2 of our Calypso SMaSH Beer, and in this video we're going to be transferring our beer from the carboy into our keg and giving it a try. You can see the hot bag in there, looks like a brain, doesn't look that appealing. Now the last time I did this I spilled fucking beer all over the floor. That's interesting. First things first, you'll notice that the top's quite crusty on this bad boy, and that's because we had a spillover in our fermentation. Fermentation was a lot more vigorous than I anticipated. Usually when I do these things I have a blow-off valve and use a blow-off valve, but unfortunately I used an airlock and a stopper on this one, and well, yeah, you can see the results. It kind of it was too vigorous and spilled over. Thankfully it didn't make too much mess, only kind of came out a bit, and the beer seems to have fermented through fine. Gravity's where it should be. So this is the beer, looks okay. You can see the hot bag in there, looks like a brain, doesn't look that appealing of course. And there's our trub on the bottom, or trube as you want to pronounce it, however you fancy doing that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. It's all about the taste now though. Okay, so it's time to transfer our beer from our fermenter into our keg. Now I was thinking about bottling this, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought it's such a ball ache. You got to sterilise all the fucking bottles one by one. It's just a big ball ache, so I decided to go against that. I know it's not a full batch, but it's enough to keg, so that's what I'm going to do. Now the last time I did this I spilled fucking beer all over the floor, so I'm going to try my best not to do that this time, but you know, it probably could still happen. Oh, fuck off. This thing is right in my way. Right, there we go. Here we go. I'm getting the hot bag straight away. Get out of the way. I'm mixing up the bottom there. This is not good. What's a ball ache? I mean, it's not too bad because it will settle on the bottom of the keg and I can just pour all the shit out in the first one, but there we go, that's better. As you can see, it's a nice clear light colour, which is lovely, which is just what we want. Put that in to avoid a bit of splashing a little. So again, splashing creates oxidation, so we want to kind of avoid that if we can. So yeah, we'll end up with some particles in here, probably some yeast, some other bits from the trub. So if I just when I pour my first pint, I should be okay. Just chuck that away like you do with any first pint you pull from the keg. That's enough for me. I'm starting to suck up stuff I don't want, so that'll do. It's giving me just under half a keg, so that'll be enough for quite a few pints, should I say. Happy days. Okay, so we've got our keg hooked up to our CO2. I'm just going to turn my manifold valve on, and we're going to purge this with a bit of CO2 first of all. I say purge, we're not purging it, we're putting in CO2 and purging the oxygen, is what I meant to say. Okay. Just wait till it fills up. Yeah, and I'll purge any oxygen out of here. Definitely all the oxygen out of there. Lovely job. Perfecto. So that's that done now. This will now sit in the fridge. Usually with this one as well I put it at 25 psi, and I usually keep it like that for around 3 to 4 days. That tends to do me well enough, and then from there I'll drop it down to a 7 psi of about 10 to 12 depending on the beer style, but for this one it'll be about 12 psi. So we'll stick this in the fridge, and then the next thing we'll see is us trying this bad boy and seeing if it tastes like it does, like it says on the packet.
2,000 years later.
As you can probably tell by my facial hair, getting pretty long. The last part of the video I recorded was quite some time ago. Now, we did have a major issue when making this SMaSH beer. As you can probably see, if you skip back a minute or so, you will see that the temperature on the stick-on thermometer on the side of the carboy showed about 22, 24. Now, when I first made this, it would seem that I overstressed the yeast, it got too stressed out and produced some really horrible off flavours to my beer. It was in the middle of a heat wave we were having at the time, and let me just tell you, that beer tasted disgusting. It was horrible, honestly. I don't think I've tasted a beer much worse other than like Squid Ink that was as horrible as this beer. Just off flavours, not what I wanted at all. So instead I went back, I redid the beer again, exactly the same processes. The other time, the only thing I did different this time was I kept it at a consistent temperature. I put it in my beer fridge, turned the temperature up so it wasn't, you know, down in your lagering temperatures. Kept it around about, I think about 18, 19 degrees the whole time. So it never went up to that 22, 24. It was in its optimal range for the yeast the whole time. So I've redone the beer. And now we're going to pour it out and we're going to give it a try, and I'll talk you through it. Okay, so here we have it. Here is the finished article. As you can see by the colour, it is that beautiful golden IPA / lager colour that we're looking for. Beautiful. It's not hazy, but it's not completely see-through either. It's kind of somewhere in between, I'd say. I wouldn't call it a hazy beer by any stretch of the imagination. The carbonation on that's pretty good. Head retention is pretty much where you want it to be. Good head on it, good thick head. Doesn't want to go anywhere. Let's go in and try the aroma. Oh, got a bit on my nose. Now, when we read the description for this, it said it would have apple, pear, and I can't remember the other one. Apple, pear, and something else. Peach, that was it. Now, I've got to be honest, just smelling this, I maybe get a hint of peach, but not a whole lot else. I don't get a lot of apple, I certainly don't get any pear in there, and it's just a slight hint of peach. It's not massive peach at all. So, at the moment, not living up to the expectations of what we'd see on a hot packet or what we'd expect in a hot packet. Anyway, let's give this a try. Cheers. That's interesting. This does still have an off flavour to it. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not going to bullshit on this channel, you know I don't. I tell the truth, tell how it is. That still has a bit of an off flavour to it. Now, it's nowhere near what the first batch was. The first batch was horrible. There's still a taste that shouldn't be there. So I don't know if this is, I can't imagine it's contamination, because as you know, when I do all my stuff, I clean everything thoroughly, everything's sanitised and it's sterilised. So I'm not sure what that is. There is just a little off taste to it. I never used this hop before. This maybe had a hop taste, I'm not overly sure, but something to me as a home brewer doesn't sit right. There's something in there that's not quite right. Go back to what I can taste. It is very bitter. Now, I didn't expect it to be that bitter, and again, this could be because of the contamination. It could be because something's gone wrong, but it does taste like proper bitter on the tongue. I would, if somebody said to me, "What's your IBU in this?" I'd say about 50, because it tastes like an IBU of about 50, and although I know it's not, I think it's an IBU of around 30, maybe less. So we shouldn't be getting that smack of bitterness unless, you know, that's what this hop's about. I don't know. Doesn't sound like it by the description. Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly drinkable. I could, you know, finish off the keg, no problem at all. Probably not in one sitting. I could do it, but it's, yeah, there's something about that that's not quite right. I'm just going to try it again. Yeah, I'm not overly sure. I definitely don't get any of the fruit flavours that are described on the hot packet. One thing I will positively say is the mouthfeel's great. The mouthfeel on it is fantastic. It's It's about that kind of medium bodied. It's not too thick. It's not, you know, thin like a lager, but has a nice mouthfeel to it. But yeah, something has gone wrong in the process. Let's be honest, something's gone wrong. Don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to thoroughly look at all my equipment and all my kit. Really probably get some chemicals in there and give it a proper deep clean, because it could be something to do with that. Problem is, there's such a kind of amount of stuff to check through. You've got your boiling kettle, you've got your carboy, you've got your siphoning equipment, your tubing, you know, the keg, the beer lines coming from my keg to my taps. There's so much to go through to double check. I think this is a problem probably in the fermenting of it, in that process somewhere along the way. But to be honest, I don't know 100% until I go through and eliminate things one by one. So that is a little disappointing, I gotta say. I know you waited ages for the kind of part 2 of this video after the first fuck up and having to redo it, but it still doesn't taste right. So I can't really judge this hops 100%, because I feel that if I do that, I'm doing it with a disservice. So I think what I'm going to do is go away, give everything a proper deep clean, get some chemicals on there to make sure everything is, you know, throughout, so I'm 100% happy that everything is properly clean. And then I think I'm going to have to come back to this beer and kind of do this SMaSH beer again, because that's, for me, is not acceptable as a home brewer. It's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be tasting beers again. There's an off flavour to it. I want my beers to all be good. So disappointing end to the video, I know, but keep an eye out. Maybe in a couple of months or so I'll come back and rebrew this beer, and then I'll maybe be able to give you a proper rundown on the flavours. But at the moment, this ain't right. Till next time.